Hey guys, it's me again, Orc What Ifs, where we last left off. Let's see, checking. Yeah. Last time where we left off, they went through the sports festival, Deku and his family dominating, quite literally. They destroyed anyone that literally came in their way. Except for Eri, she got left out at one part, so, you know. But Mina and the rest of them did good for a while. And I'm pretty sure in the end I had Deku win. Well, yeah, it was Deku. I believe it was then Deku versus Kirishima. It was either Deku versus Kirishima or Deku versus Bakugo, either way. And then in third place was like Mina and whoever. Close between Bakugo and such. Sorry. Deku's name will be the Green Jaeger, which means Green Hunter, obviously. Yeah, I thought that would actually, like, a guy posted like Jaeger X, which Jaeger 10 doesn't make sense, so I thought about the name Jaeger, and I liked it. People may ask, why Jaeger? No. Jaeger just means hunter, and he's green, so Green Hunter. Yeah. So, and Aries' name would be, Miss Rejuvenate. Or Miss Rejuvenate. Because to rejuvenate is to re-heal up. She can rejuvenate things and such. So, she just uses that name. But yeah. Deku and them are now searching through their little things, and Deku, Kirishima, and Mina do get a lot of stuff, like the internship offers. There we go. So, with that being said, Deku and them are waiting, like, looking through hundreds of things. So they're like, alright, got a few here. As Deku is, like, off doing his own thing. As he's looking at several things. Mina, Kirishima, and Eri are looking at their options. Where did Mina go? I don't think they actually ever tell you where Mina ends up at her internship. I can't remember if they did or not. But I would say Kirishima just ends up going with Fourth Kind. I'll say Eri ends up going with, takes just Minetta's place. As she heard that, as Recovery Girl did offer her, like, to get some experience in hospitals and such, is that as she, like, talked with some of her colleagues, so that way she can get more of an understanding of the process, or just, like, staying home and studying with Recovery Girl, like being self-taught by Recovery Girl, which is a major offer. As then she settles that she can learn any time about medicine, but she has learned a decent amount about combat, so she's sort of in the middle between those two options. As she starts thinking about it, she eventually just decides to go with Mountain Lady, deciding that, well, she could, like, go do, like, specialize in healing already. She really wants to. She can just go through extra years of medical school, if it really comes down to it. Now, with Deku, he's looking through it, having a more difficult time, trying to look for the perfect option. Sorry if I'm... sorry. As Deku's looking through all these things, he did notice the thing with Ida about, his brother knowing, like, eventually. As Deku searches through all his things, he's like, got an offer from Endeavor, but could go with where do I go? As he's, like, saying this to himself, as All Might actually appears out of nowhere. Something wrong, young Midoriya? He's like, no, I just got over 600 offers from people who want me to internship. So I'm wading through this massive pile, looking for things in Hosu specifically, because it ain't that far, you know. Well, it looks like as he's looking at it, I'm just gonna say Kamui Woods is in Hosu for a little bit. As he's like, hang on a second, as he pulls it up, looking at it, Kamui Woods, looking to do some work in Hosu, apparently. Specifically hunting hero killer, believes my skills would be very useful, and if he had read it right, my armor would be sufficient enough to help. Like, fuck it, I'll go. He's like, well, I guess I'll send something to Kamui Woods. As he has Aizawa send the message. Or, yeah. Saying, excuse me, Kamui Woods? It's like, yes, Izuku Midoriya has accepted your offer. As he's like, oh, that's great. As he, like, claps his hand. Does he know I'll be conducting an investigation of Hosu to help with the hero killer? It's like, he says, yes, actually, that was one of the main reasons he chose you. He thinks that to get some actual experience with quirks and not Atom users. Quirks are more flexible, Atom is kinda not, as he explains it. He's like, Aizawa's like, that's what Aizawa said. Kamui Wood says, alright, I'll be expecting him, and I'll meet him at the train station when it's time. He's like, alright. As Deku is like, Aizawa's like, alright, Kamui Woods is expecting you at this train station. He's like, alright, should we put on our uniforms now, or it's like, you can. And Midoriya, here's your extra equipment. You know that sawed-off shotgun you requested? It wasn't denied, but they won't be giving you any lethal bullets. It's like, that's kind of what I was thinking. Shock rounds? As it's like, yes. It's like, good. As he has a few, like, several clips. Not clips, but several, like, over 24 shells is the maximum they would give him. As he's like, that works for me. As he puts it to his side, brings up his drill on his left arm, and as he, like, is ready, as he has gotten all ready up. As he sets out, he's like, I guess I could just slip it into here, I'm pretty much there. As he starts slipping into his armor, puts it all on, as he steps out, Kamui Woods, oh, excuse me, are you Izuku Midoriya? As he's like, yes, and you must be Kamui Woods. But I guess since while we're here, we'll call ourselves by our hero's names. She's like, sorry. Jaeger. Green Jaeger, right? Or Jaeger Green. It's like, yeah, let's get going, Kamui Woods. I'm excited for this internship. As Deku towers over Kamui Woods. As he's like, yes, I'm excited as well. So, I would like to get you, like, I understand your abilities. Do you have an understanding of mine? He's like, yeah, I researched you a bit, just so we could probably have a even nice fighting style. So that way we could get our roles understood right away. I'm a frontline fighter. That's all there really is to it. You send me into the front, I'll keep their attention while you try to sneak around and lock them up with your chain prison technique. Things get really bad, I'll use this and the shock rounds that come with it. Things get really, really bad, I'll start using my Atom by plasmids. They're a lot less controllable. They already got a set thing. That's either gonna freeze someone's arms off, burn someone very severely, or I can just toss someone up, start lifting people up in the air like it's nobody's business. He's like, oh, well, alright then. As they set off and continue forward, Deku keeps in contact with Eri and them's like, well, I met Kamui Woods today. It's pretty interesting. Sorry. It's kind of tired here, guys. It's like, yeah, Mr. Fourth Kind had us picking up a lot of garbage. And Mina's like, well, they're just having me do some basic stuff. And Aries like, Mountain Lady's had me clean her entire apartment this entire day. So, you think... So, what? Well, at least I did see a little bit of action today, I guess you could say. Several villains tried to rob a convenience store. I moved in quickly and just essentially pushed the two of them down. Kamui Woods used his wood to pretty much chain everyone up. Or chain two up. Police arrived, who got everything filled out. So he seems to think I do pretty well. Especially since I look a lot faster than I do in this armor. And then it goes on to say, a lot of people stop us when it comes to Kamui Woods. When we're on patrol, it's a constant. Can we have a picture? Can I get an autograph? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, you didn't get anyone wanting to sign yours? He's like, oh, I most definitely did, but I wanted to get back to patrolling. I'll sign autographs later. It's like, well, you gotta think about it. It doesn't make sense. He's like, oh, well, whatever. Yeah, some people noticed me from the festival and I signed their autographs. Fourth Kind said it would be a disservice and also rude not to give him one. If you were in the middle of a fight, he would understand, but we're just cleaning up garbage is all he said. Mina says, yeah, nothing interesting, and Ari repeats herself, I cleaned the entire apartment today, is all I did. She looks around as they're somewhat using Skype or video call. As they look around, she's like, Mountain Lady is very messy. Seriously, she was eating chips in one area that I just vacuumed. And by the end of it, there were so many crumbs on the floor. I don't know how, but it was entirely covered with chips again. I don't know, how messy she eats, or maybe I just missed several spots, but yeah. It's oh, have fun. As Deku lets out, a little chuckle. That must look ridiculous. If you're wearing... As he starts laughing, almost falling. Just imagine. Are you still wearing the little head thing in the apron? Did she make you wear one of those sets when we clean, how we clean the house and you wear one? Did you put one on with your helmet and everything? She's like, yeah. She's Deku just oh, well, that was the best part of my day. Oh. Well, I gotta head to bed, I guess. Kamui Woods said we'll be getting up at 2 in the morning, try and hunt down the hero killer. It's what? It's 8. It's actually 7. It's my point exactly. 7 hours. Alright. Well, I'm heading to bed. Good night, guys. As then he turns off his thing and just almost fell asleep there for a second. Felt the cold grasp of the night sleep in, not sleep in. Damn. As then Kirishima's well, I gotta go too. Fourth Kind is taking us on patrol, so Aries yeah, Mountain Lady says we're just gonna take a break today, so I'm just gonna go read some medical books. Mian's well, see you guys later. I gotta go do some stuff. As they all get cut off. As Kamui Woods Midoriya. As Deku's what? Don't sneak up on me like that. As when Kamui Woods went to go do that, Deku used his hand and pulled him he's taken off his drill. He doesn't sleep with the prosthetic on anymore. As he when Kamui Woods went to go touch him, Deku's Humph. It's oh, kid, it's just me. He's oh, sorry. So, it's 1:30. Come on. As Deku's alright. He walks over, puts his not prosthetic, but his drill on, equips it. She's like, alright, let's get this over with. It's like, yeah. Let's get some coffee first. And Deku's like, please. As they, like, get coffee, he's like, so, Kamui Woods, question, why do you wear a mask made of wood? As he's like, well, it's like, couldn't you, like, you know, this is that, as he, like, taps on it, is like bulletproof, or it's like, not from what I know, like, my wood can be shot through, but, you know, it's difficult. He's like, huh. Why don't you wear why don't you wear armor of wood? He's like, it would weigh me down. He's like, yeah, I could see it. He's like, why do you wear the diver suit? He's like, I've worn this for more than half my life. There's no way I'm just gonna give it up just because I'm out of rapture. Plus, it makes me feel safe. And for other reasons, it made others feel safe. So, yeah. Well, I think it's about time we go head out and catch us a hero killer, isn't it? As he's like, yes, Midoriya, it is. Ah, my fucking shoulder. Sorry about that. Pushed on my shoulder. Used my shoulder to push myself up. Not shoulder, but my arm. And then I felt it in my shoulder. Damn it, this thing's been bothering me for ages. Anyways, Deku and them set off. Well, not them, but Deku and Kamui Wood set off. Deku says, so, you got an idea where we should start looking? He's like, well, from what I could gather, the hero killer is always killing in places where nobody's looking. So we should probably try to set out and see if we can find him in some of these back alleys. It's like, alright, let's just try to ensure that we don't become, don't become the ones getting killed tonight, alright? He's like, of course not. Besides, Midoriya, you are technically supposed to be the one helping in that. And you got a giant ass drill on your arm as well as a shotgun. I think we'll be fine. He's like, you never can be too safe, Kamui Woods. Always expect that something is gonna come out from behind you and kill you in the back. As is like, more rapture logic? He's like, no, that's logic in general. A couple months ago, like a little over a year ago, I was jumped. Well, I guess would they be 19? Well, like 18 years ago, I was not 18 years, about 10 months ago or so, like 11 months ago, like 11 and a half months ago, I was attacked by a slime villain walking by under a bridge. So I think you should just learn to always expect to be shanked or stabbed, shot, killed, anything in between. Between stabbed and killed, he's like, and further. As they set off, they don't find Stain at all. He's just like, we've been searching for a couple nights. As I believe they were there for like 2 to 3 days, is like how long they were with their hero agencies. As Deku and Kamui Woods do stop some background dealings of drugs and such, and he's like, well, ain't the hero killer, but still villains. As they go out for the final night, he's like, hey kid, this is gonna be the final night we're here. So let's try to catch him. Deku's like, you know it. Or was it a week? Can't remember details like that sometimes. But Deku and Kamui Woods are like, so, we just try to find a place with, like, barely any sign of people. And it's like, the hero killer hasn't killed anyone in a couple of days, so. As they go on, it's like, the Nomu attack, then it's like, Deku and Kamui end up setting off as a Nomu, like, I believe they had 3 Nomu. As the Nomu are tearing up the town, Deku goes toe-to-toe with another Nomu, with red vials linked up in it. He's like, what the hell? As in it, like, uses... for the concussive force. As Deku's sent flying back into a wall, he's like, Kamui Wood, stay away from that thing. It's like, why? What is it, Deku? He's like, that thing ain't using quirks. That's Adam. It's got it in its system. As Deku rushes forward, let's fight. Let's see which is strong. Let's see. A big brother, a Nomu infused with Adam. As Deku pretty much picks it up and smashes it into the ground, getting it on its back and then just ripping out the Atom Springs. As he's like, Kamui, take that. As Deku rings up his drill, it's like, Deku, do not kill it. As he's like, this thing's a Nomu. These things need to die. He's like, the lab can find out more about it. As Deku's like, oh, what, it's not like we can knock it out. As he's like, I think we can, Deku. Just, Blacklist chain prison. As he just, like, quickly wraps it underneath several layers of wood. Deku's like, oh. As then Deku starts thinking, wait a minute, Ida here, as he did notice that Ida and him did go to Hosu, as he's like, oh shit. As he's like, I gotta go, keep an eye on that thing. It's like, where are you going? I think a friend of mine's after the hero killer. As he starts rushing through the alleyways, eventually getting to the point where the sword's raised up and he's slamming it down, Deku's like, no! Charge forward and then charges forward using the drill, sort of drilling right into a wall. Like, Stain was like in front of a wall, I'll say this time. As Deku rushed forward and slamming the drill, it's like stuck in a wall as it's drilling. As he pulls it back out, he's like, Ida? Deku? I'm just say Deku. Deku, what are you doing here? He's like, saving you. As Deku takes him and then throws him back over to Indian, as Indian dude's like, ow! Oh wait, it's native. He's like, ow! Deku says, you both stay behind there. As Deku then reaches to his side, pulls out and gets the shotgun ready. He's like, hero killer Stain, I would prefer not to have to kill you or even fight you. So I'll ask you this once. Surrender now, and we won't have to fight. He's like, saving that brat, it was a idiotic move, false hero. He's like, false hero. It's like, I told you I ain't a hero. I'm not trying to become a hero technically, I guess. What makes me false? Saving a life from a deranged killer? As he's like, society is full of false heroes. He's like, yeah, I got that, but that doesn't mean killing them makes it right. Fucking hypocrite. Some people have the aspect to change. You understand that, right? Yeah, well, as he's like, well, I got no room to say about who's wrong or right. I've killed more people than you've... I've probably killed more people, or splicers in that case, than you've probably seen months. And how old are you? He's like, I think he's like around in his 20s, 30s. Deku's like, yeah, I've definitely killed way more people than you've probably seen actual weeks. So, or even half weeks maybe. Anyways, we gonna fight, or are you gonna give up? As Stain grabs his two machete, well, not machetes, but his two swords, I guess. He has his one big sword, multiple knives, multiple combat knives, as well as I think several not switchblades, but throwing. I think he also has a few throwing knives and such. Deku says, I guess it's fighting we are. Fighting. Deku gets in a protective stance as he takes a wide stance, raising his drill in front of him to act like a shield and having the shotgun pulled at the ready. As he stands in front of Ida and Native, he took a few steps back and braced himself like he's waiting for a truck to come head forward, straight at him, head forward, straight ahead. There we go. This Deku says, "Come on, hero killer. But I'll let you know, a big brother does not falter." As he takes as he tightens the grip on his shotgun and rings up the drill just ready to go. Stain's like, I can tell that the big brother's strength is not lacking. But still, will your conviction outlast mine? As he rushes forward, Deku's like, tricked ya. As he throws cold blizzard at Stain's right foot, freezing it in place as Deku rushes forward, blasting him in the other leg with one of the shotgun shock shells. As then he just starts, as it completely numbs his other leg. These shock shells are very dubbed down than Rapture's, as it just numbs his entire left leg. Deku then takes the drill, smashes the knife, as then he steps on Stain's chest, forcing him into the ground. And he's like, give up, or this next one's going right in the face. Could cause blindness or even kill you. It may be dubbed down from Rapture's, but most definitely do some damage to that head of yours. As he's like, now, as then he feels a stabbing pain in the back of his leg. As a knife has pierced his suit and has gone out the other side. Deku says, what the? As then Stain grabs gets his hand and sort of swipes it, as then he licks it off his finger. As Deku stands there, unable, he's like, no! As Stain's as he spits out his blood, your blood tastes foul, even more so than usual. But still, as he goes to lift off Deku's leg, as he starts pushing up, Deku's like, I can't move! As he starts trying to move it, as he's able to somewhat use it, he's pushes it down a little bit, as he's as Stain is slowly but surely moving his leg, he's like, shit, I should have told Kamo he would. As Stain's like, I will let you live for your conviction to be a defender. But the false heroes must be purged. As he gets that bloodshot eye, Deku's like, I can't. As he starts trying to twitch his finger into pulling the trigger, he's like, I lost. He didn't notify anyone where he was going. As he does I can move. As he gets up, walks over and pushes Deku's leg down as he steps on Stain's hand. As he's like, Midoriya, are you okay? He's like, I'm fine. I just can't move my legs. I'm just tensing up my left one. No, right one. I trying my best, but I can't. As Ida then goes over and is like, I'll take that. As he grabs the shotgun, he's like, don't kill him, Ida. Besides, those things won't even kill him. He's like, you were just saying if you shot him in the head. He's like, it was a bluff, you idiot. Now if you pull that trigger, Ida, don't do it. It isn't what your brother would want. Trust me. How would you know? You forget that I am a big brother. First and foremost, than a hero. If I saw Eri, Mina, or even Kirishima looking down, doing a choice like this for vengeance, purely, they know I'd be disappointed in them. Now shoot his other arm so that way I can possibly stop this. As he's like, do you have any more? He's like, I got loads more. Now shoot him. He's like, alright. As he shoots the other arm, then he's like, give me another one. As he loads it in, shoots the other arm, getting him completely stuck, numbing his entire body. As Deku's like, alright. As then he stops tensing his leg, and then he immediately falls over from the weight. This is Deku was only being kept there because Stain had his hands on him. Deku was getting kept in place from the slight thing of Stain's thing, as he falls over to his right, almost crushing Ida. As Ida then ties up Stain. Deku then is eventually like gets back up after a little bit as he's like, oh, as he's like, is your leg okay, Deku? He's like, it's fine. As he rips it out, blood spraying. As then he shakes it off. He's like, my healing should probably take effect. Well, actually, he doesn't have healing. Sorry, I forgot about that. He's like, I shouldn't bleed to death. Knowing the blood would scab over more quickly than yours. Knowing Lamb, she'd find some way to keep us alive from bleeding to death. But still, it's like, why didn't you heal when you were at the USJ then? I had eternal ruptures. Bones were peeking out. It's not like it's gonna be more difficult to heal over with more and more blood pouring out to scab over. Like, as then he walks over and, like, picks up helps Native up. He's like, alright, let's get going. As they drag Stain out. As then eventually, like, Kamui Wood is like, Midoriya, where have you been? As he sees over, he's like, Midoriya, did you? He's like, yep. I didn't use any abilities to attack him. Like, what about his leg? It's frozen somewhat. He's like, yeah, you may lose that. Oh well. He's like, did you try to use Incinerate? I told you I could burn. He's like, do it. As he like opens his hand, his palm, just like rubbing fire over Stain's leg. As Stain is like, as getting shocked like that knocks Stain out. A lot of pain and such. You know. Just making up reasons here, alright? As Deku and them are just like, alright. So, am I in trouble for this? Deku's like, Kamui's like, he won't be Midoriya, but Ida probably will be. He went off against Killer on his own. Though, since you don't have quirks, they might celebrate you as somewhat of a hero. Actually. Deku's like, I can live with that. It's like, alright, Ida, too bad. As he like smacks Ida on the back. As when we exit from that, not a villain, the Deku and them eventually just, Ida's taken to the hospital, and Deku's just like, they've pretty much forced him to go to the hospital, just like get his leg looked at. He's like, I'm fine. It's like, it pierced through your bone. He's like, really? It's like, yep. See right here, as they like point at his leg bone, it's like, see, as it was traveling through, it just barely missed the other leg, but it cut severely into this one. Yeah, he's like, when you pulled it out, some marrow seeped out, but it shouldn't be that big. No, bone marrow, maybe? Maybe not. Some fragments broke off, So it shouldn't be that bad, but we could repair it. He's like, the fragments will just absorb back into my skin, right? It's like, I think so, but you really just want to wait that long? He's like, I don't feel any pain or anything, so I'm fine. It's like, fine, just stay off that leg unless you want your bones to completely snap. He's like, I'm surprised he was actually even able to break through my bones in the first place. To even, like, break my skin requires a very sharp blade as well as quite a bit of strength. So, it's surprising he was able to do that. As it's like, well, we went through his system. Apparently he had some atom in his veins. It's like, really? What types? It's like speed increase and strength increase. On his own, he's super physically, he's already superhuman physically. But with all this atom pumping through his veins, we're surprised, kid, that you're able to get him. Well, I used a few cheap tricks. I lured him into thinking I was going to be this, as he makes fun of a so honorable warrior. No, I fight to win, and my way to win was to freeze his leg, shoot his other leg, and then just eventually knock him out. But he stabbed me in my leg before I could finish that off. Thankfully, Ida was unable to get unstuck, even though he was being a giant dumbass. Anyways, thanks, Doc. I'll make sure to stay off it. It's like, you do that. And as he's like, and as for another thing, the medical marvel of a big brother, do you know how it works? He's like, no, I just know that I got a bunch of stuff stabbed into me, ripped out of me, replaced, then stabbed into me again, so. There was a lot of blacking out during the whole procedure, but I can tell you one thing, it was very painful. Big brothers were a prototype. I'm technically a prototype along the way. Though I was supposed to be the complete effect, there were still other problems. I'm one of the few ones that managed to keep their insanity. There were hundreds, maybe even, there was like dozens, if not hundreds of us. Or maybe even just like over, barely catching up to 100 of us altogether. It's by Lamb's data, it's a miracle that even one of us maintained some form of a sanity. And yeah, we almost broke that sanity a few times. Almost gave up hope in Rapture, but you know, that's how that works. As then he walks in to talk with Ida. As Todoroki visits them, as Todoroki is trying to fix a relationship with his mom. I'll say after suffering that defeat from Deku, it shook some things loose. Like his resolve to not use fire. Dumb fuck. As I think I can't remember what I had Deku do to him. I think he just punched him, if I remember. I was really tired when I made that, so sorry if it ain't perfect, or even that good. Anyways, Deku goes and visits Ida, as then Todoroki eventually visits Deku, saying, me and my dad were here to hunt the hero killer. And Deku's like, oh, well, I was here with Kamui Woods to hunt the hero killer. It's like, seems like you got your quarry first. He's like, yep, that's how it's done. Except for this idiot, he almost got himself killed. It's like, yeah, I heard about that. Ida was like, yes, Todoroki, stop being dumb. Listen to Midoriya. It's like, I'll try. As he leans forward to give Deku an apology bow, Deku's like, stop that. You got several broken bones in your ribs. He's like, wait, what? When did you learn that? He's like, I came and talked to the doc. He says you're lucky. One of it almost hit your spine. He's like, I don't think I ever broke any bones. He's like, yeah, you're pumped full of adrenaline. It's like, the hero killer had a bunch of strength plasmids pumped into him. It's like, what? How long it's like, don't worry, dude. You're fine. It's just yanking your chain. If anyone got hurt, it was me. Surprised he was still able to break through my bone in the first place. That's a difficult task all its own. Well, anyways, I gotta go finish up the rest of the day with Kamui Woods. As he goes to walk out, the police chief comes to personally congratulate Midoriya. And then this cover-up story for Ida. As then he tries to start talking about not letting him have credit. He's like, I stopped him, I get credit, plasmids are not illegal, surprisingly. It's like, yes, but former act is like, it's only in self-defense. It was only the only law that requires that is from America, where in America they're more lean with those. Here in Japan, well, they really didn't have anything to develop against plasmids, because the plasmid market or atom market here is more dry than a fish bone after it's been left out in the sun for 3 days. I was going to say 3 months, but 3 days works. She's like, very well, Midoriya. If that's truly how it is, well, I guess you're right. Oh, hopefully this won't cause an uproar. It shouldn't. Think about the headlining. Big brother from Rapture takes care of vicious hero killer. Think about it, the headlines. Is what one reporter says as he's like, wait, what are you doing here? He's like, I got a report that Izuku Midoriya, or the Green Big Brother, or Green Jaeger, was the one to defeat the hero killer. I was given permission to get a scoop, as he's like, wait, I didn't give, as it's like, the hospital director gave permission. He's like, if we if it's heard that that one of the big brothers were here, it'd be like give us a massive boost in reputation. More people may be willing to donate. Hospitals gotta look out for themselves, man. As he's like, yeah, whatever. As then he starts talking with Midori, he's like, alright, I'll go deal with this, guys. Talk to you guys later. As then he leaves through the door. And that's where I'm going to be ending this one off. I hope y'all have enjoyed it. Hope y'all continue to enjoy it. And I hope y'all have a nice day, nice night, nice life.